Hey Giovanni, it's Lauren. I hope that you're having a great day today. So I just wanted to send over my story for the week. And it's called Silly Sandwiches by Anne Hart. Mom was playing the piano. She played the piano a lot. Dylan opened a kitchen cupboard. His friend Jake opened another one. "What's for lunch, Mom?" Dylan called. The piano music stopped. "Make yourself some sandwiches," Mom called. The music started again. "What kind of sandwiches?" Dylan asked. The music stopped. "Any kind. Use your imagination." The music started again. "Any kind?" Dylan grinned at Jake. He put the bread on the table. Jake set out 2 plates. "Let's see what you have," he said. They pulled out jars, boxes, and bags. The table was filled with food. They had peanut butter, mustard, and honey. They had raisins, sugar cubes, and cookies. Tiny marshmallows spilled from a bag. The chocolate chips weren't open yet. Jake looked at all the food. "Now what?" he said. Dylan rubbed his hands together. "Dig in," he said. "I'm starting with the peanut butter. Everything else will stick to it." Jake nodded. "Good idea." The boys spread peanut butter on their bread. Jake reached for the marshmallows. Dylan opened the chocolate chips. Dylan sprinkled chocolate chips over the peanut butter. He sprinkled marshmallows over the chocolate chips. Raisins came next. The piano music stopped. "Are you finding enough to eat?" Mom called. Jake slapped a cookie on his sandwich. Dylan picked up a jar of mustard. "Yes," he called. The piano music started again. Dylan went back to work. He spread mustard over the raisins. He dribbled honey over the mustard. He crumbled a coconut cookie over the honey. "Finished!" Dylan slapped a slice of bread on top. His sandwich was tall. He picked it up and looked at Jake. Jake picked his up, too. They grinned at each other. They opened their mouths wide. They munched and chewed and swallowed. "Yum," said Dylan. "Best sandwich I've ever had," said Jake. The sandwiches were soon gone. The piano music stopped. "Have you boys eaten your sandwiches?" Mom called. "Yes," Dylan answered. "What kind did you make?" Dylan looked at Jake. Jake shrugged and Dylan laughed. "Silly sandwiches." So that was fun. That was a fun story. I like that. I was kind of jealous of their sandwich making. I may have to try that. But there's some questions we just wanted to see what you thought. So the first one is, which ingredient from the silly sandwich are not usually found in a regular sandwich? So there was a couple of them. So think of some of the ingredients you heard and tell me which ones you think usually don't go on a sandwich. So there were a bunch of them, and I guess it depends on, your personal taste, but I would say chocolate chips usually don't go on a sandwich. Marshmallows usually don't go on a sandwich. Honey usually doesn't go on a sandwich. Raisins usually don't. And coconut cookies usually don't. So those were some of the weirder ones. Peanut butter usually, that'll go on a sandwich sometimes. and same with mustard, but usually not together. Um, so the next question is, do you think that Dylan's mom would have approved of the sandwiches that they made, and why or why not? So my guess is that she probably wouldn't have. I think she probably would have wished they had something with less sweets and maybe more healthy stuff like, some turkey or ham or lettuce or tomato or stuff like that instead of, chocolate chips and marshmallows and honey and cookies and all that. And then some of the combinations like mustard and sweet stuff together, it might give him a stomach ache, so she might not have approved. And then the last question, how would you describe Jake and Jillian? So this is a pretty open-ended question, but I think we could describe them both as friends. They're both boys. They're probably younger from pictures that look like they're probably about your age, Jovanni. Um, and I would say for their personalities, they're probably fun, right? And they're probably silly, just like the silly sandwiches they made. And they're brave, they were willing to try a bunch of new foods together on one sandwich. And maybe they're a little rebellious because they kind of kept it a little bit of a secret what kind of sandwiches they made from Dylan's mom. So those are probably some ways to describe them, but if you had other ways, you know, I think there's a lot of right answers for that question. So that was this week's story, and I look forward to talking to you next week. All right, have a great weekend, Giovanni.